Morning. Morning. I'm Helen Gibson, and today being June the 19th, I wanted to jump in here and talk about the energy of 15. So we have just transitioned, the sun has transitioned into the gate 15 or the key 15, depending on what tool you use. So let's talk the language of this key first. So this is here till it transitions to the next key on the 25th. So we've got this for a few days, this energy. And I really feel like I went through a little bit of this last week and probably still a little bit of it now. So the gate 15 is located, if we're talking biologically, it's located in the identity center, part of the heart center. If we're talking human design, it's in the identity center. We're talking heart, we're talking identity, that chakra. If you're looking at that chakra, it would be all around the identity, the heart. I've repeated myself twice. Anyway, 15, the language. In the traditional language, it's the gate of extremes. And when I look at the traditional language, generally, to me, it's when you're first going inward and looking at it, and that's where it might be showing up for you in shadow. If we talk gene keys, we're talking the shadow in the lower expression. This is the type of language that you'll kind of hear when I talk about it. So 15 in the shadow, or the lowest expression of that, would be extremes, that life is becoming extreme. Things are, there's no direction. Everything's like, when you get in that place where you're just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. And life becomes, or you get anxious, or you're just getting really overwhelmed, or getting really, it just doesn't feel like you're going anywhere. No momentum, nowhere. Feels like you're just running around in circles, or life might be just really, really fast, and you just feel like, oh, it's kind of working without you. Kind of, when your body's on that automatic kind of way, and that's what it kind of can feel like. In its lower expression, in the extremes of it. So that's traditional language, the word of it. In the quantum human design language, it's all about compassion. So for me, Karen Curry Parker created this language to give it a direction to where, yes, this is what it can show up like, but if we're done a bit of inner work, or we're wanting to move out of that shadow, this compassion, this higher frequency of energy associated to this language is compassion. So compassion is, it's easy for us sometimes to have compassion for others, but not for ourselves. And this gate really invites you into self-compassion, into really looking into yourself. So, and then if we move over into the gene keys language, in the shadow, it's dullness. So if you're like when I talked before, that hamster wheel of life that can happen, or, we're just like, it's that continual, there's nothing there, that's kind of like, it's just happening. Life's, I guess, when we look at the shadow of dullness, for me, when I look at that, I go, well, if life is kind of feeling either dull or it's like feeling too chaotic, there's something for me to here to look at. And can I be okay with being dull, I guess? Like, because sometimes we are so busy. This is where I'm looking at it with the 15, is like, sometimes being dull is okay. Like, it's not a bad thing. But if I am not okay in sitting in the quiet, or sitting in the space, or sitting in that energy of, like, so this is where I came from last week. I was just sort of gathering my thoughts for a moment there. Last week, I felt like I was going nowhere. And I really feel like this is what this energy was telling me. I felt like I was going nowhere. I felt like everything was just moving so fast, I couldn't keep up. I wasn't feeling on fire or lit up or anything like that. And so I had to, like, really collect myself energetically I had to stop some things. I had to just really be with me, because what I was doing, I was in places, I was talking to people, I was trying to be everything and trying to do everything for everyone else, which then sort of took me out of my own alignment, attunement. But I was coming from a place of oversharing, wanting to be validated. So it was a very lower expression of that. So I wasn't okay with being quiet and being dull and being present with myself. So when I did that, when I actually pulled right back, not shrunk myself, I just pulled myself out of certain things just to honor myself, have compassion for myself. Compassion for myself is something I'm really learning. I don't always have. I have a lot of compassion for other people, but certain, like sometimes family and myself, I don't have a lot of compassion for. So I have to work really hard towards that, and not hard, but like really take care of myself more often. And it's something that I'm working towards. But so I was like, well, I really think I should be in those places and I should be in those things. And if I'm not going to be noticed, all those like really low vibration energies. But when I really took myself out of that, I was able to feel full enough energetically that I could then begin to start to magnetize the things that I really am desiring to create and bring forward. And, if you look into the gift of this, it's about magnetism. So last week I was working a lot with money for myself as well. So it showed me where I was leaking energy. And then if I was giving all that energy away, I didn't have enough for myself. So so then I could serve people with my highest level of energy. So coming back in, regrounding myself, really taking care of that energy, getting back in my rhythm with me. So this gate is a bit about your own natural rhythm, this key. Because when you're in your own flow and your own rhythm and your own kind of lane, if you want to use that language, people see you. People really see you. You're magnetic, your energy. People want to talk to you. People want to be around you. But if we're coming from that place of really wanting validation or wanting, because we don't want to appear like maybe we are dull, like maybe I am dull, maybe being boring for me is actually a good thing. And when we own that and we can say, okay, cool, I can actually be okay with that. And then when you come from a place of feeling that fullness and that real, I don't know how to put words to this just yet, but I will. When you come from that real full, I own whatever if I'm boring and I'm quiet or whatever the thing is for me, I'm actually okay with that now. This week, I had to sit in that and feel uncomfortable for a few days and go, oh, this feels really uncomfortable. But what I've seen from that is I've had so much more focus in where I'm going, so much more focus in what I want to create, so much more energy from a really self-honoring place. So it was a pattern, and it's something that I have been working on for a little while about overgiving, to feel validated, and always talking to feel validated and all that kind of stuff. So that's this week, being able to actually jump in here and talk these videos has been really a lot around, okay, where am I going? What do I want to share with people? How do I want to show up? And I really want to show up and share this information because it's really helpful. But it's also shown me where my natural rhythms, we have cycles. We all have cycles. Men, women, we all have a natural cycle that we go through in the month. And that doesn't mean just because you've got, if you have, your, all your bits and pieces, even if you don't have them, you still have a cycle, because our whole world is in cycles. the planetary, the month cycles. It's all there. We just have to find our own natural rhythm and be okay with that natural rhythm. And where I really like this key is it sits in our identity center. So it is all about you, not what you've been told to be, what your rhythm is. And for a while, when you try to adjust weights, say like there's weights on one of those scales, and you kind of like it's getting it's a bit wobbly to try, and it kind of feels like that. And I feel like the 15 could be like this. When you're learning to have compassion, it can be a little bit uncomfortable, but then eventually it all just evens out and balances out and can be calmer, a calmer energy. So I had to learn a lot of boundaries last week. So I really feel like that this energy of 15 is around setting boundaries, rest and work cycles, and listening to that rest and work cycle, because sometimes, depending on your human design chart, depending on your gene keys, you will have a natural rhythm with that. You will have a natural way, whether it's an off and on, or whether that's depending on the energies, like who you're around, the cycle will be different, can actually affect your own cycle. So it's really about learning what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you're okay for, what you're not okay for. So sitting with some of those those questions for yourself. What am I like? If I'm on this path and I want to create this one thing or many things, and I'm trying to be everything for everyone all at once and forgetting all of myself, I lose myself in that. My direction is gone. So it's not that we don't love all those people or we don't care for them, or it's that sometimes I have to choose me. And that's what this week is really inviting you to do, is to really have compassion for yourself and what you're wanting to create, how you're wanting your life to be, the energy you want to feel, even like it's a really great time to interrupt some of those patterns that might be just completely not aligned for you, are wearing you out, have you in a bit of a mess. It can be, and sometimes mess is great because it teaches us that we need to change something. And not judging yourself, really being compassionate for where you're sorry, someone just popped in the background, where you're not willing to take the time out for yourself, or set a boundary so you can really show up for yourself and show up for the people around you. For me, that's generally my family. If I've overgiven and not taken care of me, the people around me suffer, and that's really not okay. So I'm working really hard to take more care of me. Well, there's the 15 today, the little download of information. I hope you got something out of that can support you this week. So like I said, it shifts on the 25th. We change to the next key or gate. And I didn't go into the city of 15, but it's fluorescence. Like, when someone is fully lit or feel fully energized, they've taken care, they've done all the things, they've been responsible, whatever, set boundaries, they just look fully lit up. Their energy, their face, everything just shines. That's what fluorescence for me is. But you might want to go on a journey and look at what that word means for you. But taking a breath there. So take a breath this week. Take a breath. Figure out what feels good, what doesn't feel good to you. Anyway, peeps, have a lovely day. Talk soon. Bye. Mwah.